everyday wear, stuff that just works for everything. You can literally grab and go. Some of my favorite types of fragrances, just the easy reach type of stuff. Some people call it dumb reach. Just great everyday fragrances that are pleasing to the nose. You're going to smell great. It's all that really matters at the end of the day, and they seem to work regardless of what you're wearing for your attire. Like I said, they just work every day, and I've got 7 of them for you, so stay tuned. Starting with one that I've begun to enjoy more and more and more as time has progressed, that being Stronger With You Freeze from Emporio Armani. This stuff is just so enjoyable. I really dig this scent profile. It's a much fresher take on my beloved original Stronger With You EDT, which is one of my favorite designer fragrances. Here, it's freshened up. The warmth of the spice is toned back to it's a much more fresh spice. It's a little bit more simplistic. There's not quite as much character and evening appropriateness going for this because the warmth is dialed back. That dry chestnut's kind of, I don't really get much of that. I don't even recall it being in the notes for this one. I'm not saying it's not in there, but it's much more fresh, a little sweet, kind of that bubblegummy type of opening with some fresh spice, but not drastically bubblegummy opening. I mean, I don't think it smells exactly like Invictus, but definitely borrows a little bit of the opening from it. And it's quite enjoyable. It's a solid performer. It's not a loud fragrance, but I do get pretty good longevity on this. It's a great fragrance in my opinion. It's one that kind of got swept under the rug by a lot of people as kind of boring of a release and redundant to Invictus style fragrances, whereas I feel like if you like spices, you like that sweet aquatic approach, but you really enjoy spices, this is a really good fragrance to wear every day. Works in the warmth, has enough longevity and staying power to handle the winter cold. Not really going to cut through it too heavily, but it's going to do just enough. You know, I really think this works every day. I think you can wear it with a t-shirt like I'm wearing. You can wear this one to work, regardless of what type of work setting you have, office, outdoors, labor force, whatever. Even going out at night, it's still got enough going for it for evenings as well. My first pick for just a great everyday fragrance, Stronger With You Freeze. Now this is one that's going to be a little polarizing. This is another one that got deemed kind of boring. Because, you know, sometimes these mass appealing, easy to like fragrances, your aficionados of the finer fragrances out there, they'll turn their nose up to these. They won't really care for them. It's a boring release to people that really enjoy a nice, luxurious niche fragrance. I understand where they're coming from with that, if that's really your jam. But fragrances like Ralph's Club don't really get a fair shake, in my opinion. It's actually a solid blue fragrance that's got some green aspects, a little bit of clary sage, lavender. It's actually a lavandin note, which is a bit more of an herbal lavender take. It's not quite as soapy, but there is a little bit of a soapy nature to it. It's very mass appealing in blue. And when I say blue, I mean it's just versatile. It works for everything. It's easy to like. It's easy to wear. Usually when I say blue, easy to like, easy to wear, and versatile. You can lump all of that in. That's how I would describe a blue fragrance. Performance is average, nothing special here, not a really long-lasting fragrance, not really loud, though I wouldn't necessarily want to bathe in this and do 15 sprays. You know, 7 spray range, you'll be good for 5 to 6 hours, at least in my experience. That's without spraying clothes, and it's super inviting. Easy going, easy to like. This is one that can be your one fragrance, in my opinion. Signature scent worthy kind of stuff if you just want to smell good. Because at the end of the day, it just smells good. My opinion, of course, and I know there's a lot of you out there that will agree with me that have tried this or have this fragrance. Not going to be for everybody, obviously, but if you're looking for a great everyday fragrance that doesn't walk down the exact same beaten path of every basic generic designer release, it kind of has a little bit something different going for it without really veering off of the path much, you might want to take a look at Ralph Lauren, Ralph's Club. So this one's very new to my collection. At the recording of this was my scent of the day, and I really see the hype over the years behind this one. This is a great everyday fragrance, especially if you like the versatile types, that being Parfums de Marly Percival. That's right, I just got this. I just put out a first impressions video at the recording of this the previous day, and today was my first wearing. And it's just a joy to wear. I can see why this is a lot of people's favorite. If you tend to wear a lot of designer fragrances, this is going to be the kind of niche fragrance that's right up your alley, because it's a safe bet, because it's more of a designer take on niche. Because there's ambroxan, there's a few other synthetics, I don't recall exactly what. There's a bright, uplifting freshness. There's a zesty fruitiness to it. It's very effervescent. Shout out to my man Dana Malik. He actually described it perfectly. It's sparkly, effervescent, and zingy. It has some zing. That was the words he described in the comment section of my first impressions video. And I just thought that was such a great way to describe this fragrance, especially in the first couple of hours. I can see where this can pull a compliment or two. Granted, it was just my one wearing today, and I did not get a compliment, but in the future I could see this pulling a few in for sure. It's got that type of scent profile and that type of DNA, and performance is no slouch. I think you can get some olfactory fatigue to this, go anosmic, nose blind, to where you don't even realize it's still projecting 5, 6, 7 hours in, and you may refresh when you really don't need to and have a massive scent bubble going with this one. This actually does project pretty well. Today it went for about 9 hours on my skin. I did clock it, I did time it until it faded into a very thin, faint skin scent. I'm really digging this one. I will be doing a full review in the future, but this had to go in this video because it fits the topic perfectly. I think this is a fantastic entry-level niche everyday fragrance. It's Parfums de Marly Percival. From a more expensive fragrance to a much more affordable fragrance. This is kind of a Carolina Herrera classic, if you will. It is the original 212 Men. Bright, citrus, juicy, and green, with a lot of lovely dense woods in the dry down with a little bit of musk. You know, it's not the fragrance it once was many years ago, obviously through reformulations over the years and stuff, but it's still a very good fragrance for those on a budget. You can get this in the $40 range, and it performs okay. Not a beast. Another one, average range, 4 to 6 hours depending on your skin. Some people may get 7 or 8 hours out of this. I get around 5 or 6 hours. 5 probably really the mark, and I'm good with that. You keep it with you, keep a decan if you're going to have a long work day or something like that, because this is signature scent worthy stuff. If you just want fresh, easy going, this is one that historically ladies tend to like how it smells on a guy. My experience in the past, I've had friends that this used to be their signature scent many years ago. Very familiar with older formulations and this newer formulation. And it still does the trick. Like I said, while not the same deep, rich performance powerhouse that it once was many years ago, it's still a solid offering that can be found for a very affordable price these days that goes well with, like I said before, t-shirt. Hell, you could wear it with a suit and tie if you really want to. It does it all, and it's great year-round. Carolina Herrera, 212 Men. My favorite of the Bleu de Chanel's, hands down, is Bleu de Chanel Parfum. This stuff is versatile, it's refined and smooth, it's warm yet still fresh and zesty. That lemon zest up top is so beautiful. The top note on this fragrance is just gorgeous. I can see how this will just grab somebody in the first hour. You know, it's not a powerhouse in projection. It does leave a nice trail. That's where people can really detect it when you walk by. After about an hour and a half, 2 hours, that's where people will be able to smell you when you walk by. But it seems to just keep going and going on my skin. This is one where longevity is there. The warmth that radiates off of my skin makes it good enough to cut through the cold, yet the not so overwhelming projection that it has makes it good to wear in the highest of heat. I've worn this in the Houston summers, no problem. Actually, when I first got it, I got to spray it again. It's just such a good scent. One that I hold in such high regard. I actually, honestly, do not wear enough, but I do recommend this as the main, most important, best smelling, best performing for my taste Bleu de Chanel in the line. I know a lot of people will go the route of the EDP, and I understand why. It's the happy medium between this and the Eau de Toilette, but personally, even though it's the most expensive of the options, I think it's the best option, and one that you should definitely get your nose on because you may end up needing a bottle. It's great for everyday use year-round. Bleu de Chanel Parfum. A blue cheapy classic. You know, not as cheap as it once was. I mean, when you can find the 50 mLs popping up at the rack stores, they're only 17 bucks. But testers go into 30s, low 40s to high 30s for full presentation, 100 mLs of one of my favorites, Acqua Essenziale Blue from Salvatore Ferragamo. This stuff is stunning. It's stunning. A little touch of Bleu de Chanel EDT citrus, a little bit of that Dylan Blue dark aquatic heart. Without being very aquatic, this has a lovely lavender tonka bean combo that gives a little bit of powder, but not too much, while maintaining a lot of that aromatic nature with a little soapiness. Just a little touch of soap, a little touch of powder. There's an herbal green quality in the background. There's a denseness. It's rich. It's a little much for the summer, but easy on the sprays. It works just fine and great for spring, fall, and winter for sure. This is one of my all-time favorites. Like I've said many times before, this is the fragrance most synonymous with this channel, because one of my favorites. Is probably my #1 recommendation in the history of the TLTG Reviews YouTube channel, because I believe in this fragrance and it performs great on me. I have a few bottles of it, and it's one that if you can find for a great price, I think it's worth rolling the dice even on a blind buy, because I think it's that great. Is there a chance you might not like it? Of course there is. That's the risk of a blind buy. So if you can sample it, sample it. Salvatore Ferragamo stores in these luxury malls, kind of like if you're in Houston in the Galleria Mall. The first time I tried it was at the Ferragamo store. If you have a Ferragamo store near you or somewhere that sells Ferragamo fragrances, definitely get your nose on it. If not, I think it's worthy of rolling the dice on a blind buy if you can get it for a great price. A wonderful everyday scent. It's Acqua Essenziale Blue from Salvatore Ferragamo. Last but not least, the most pricey fragrance on this list, the highest quality fragrance on this list, the longest lasting fragrance on this list, but also one of the more easygoing daily wear fragrances on this video. Roja Parfums Harrods Parfum pour Homme. Yes, very pricey fragrance. This is for you luxury niche aficionados like I was speaking of in the beginning of the video. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous, man, it's good. It's a gorgeous citrus aromatic with a lot of fresh green herbal aspects to this fragrance. Bright blonde and light woods in the base of this fragrance, but a lot of citrus up top. It's beautiful. The way the citruses and the greens mix give a not so reinventing the wheel approach to a citrus aromatic, while still maintaining the level of luxurious scent profile and quality that Roja Parfums is known for. This is definitely worthy of a sample. I wouldn't say blind buy safe because it's extremely expensive, obviously, but it's worthy. It's another one of those fragrances that is worthy of a sample. This is a great everyday wear, obviously, because of the quality and the simplicity of the style, not the simplicity of the fragrance, because it does have a lot of complexity. That's how most of these Roja Parfums fragrances are. There are layers to it. You will get something different probably just about every time you wear the fragrance, but it's a traditional style masculine citrus aromatic. Like I said, it's just got that Roja Parfums touch where it's dialed up with quality with a blend to perfection. Definitely a great everyday wear. Works perfect in a t-shirt. Probably, I would say 80% of the times I've worn this was in a t-shirt. It rocks just fine with a t-shirt, but it definitely has a refined quality to go with a suit and tie, and it's got the performance to work however you want. Just spray accordingly. Doesn't matter what season. Fantastic luxury option for everyday wear is Roja Parfums Harrods Parfum pour Homme. Well, that is the 7 picks that I have for you today. Until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. Do you have any of the fragrances that I featured here today? And if so, what do you think about them? And if not, did any of these pique your interest and have you intrigued to want to try them? Because these are some really good fragrances that some of them, shame on me, I don't wear enough, like Bleu de Chanel Parfum. I'm definitely guilty of doing that. But Percival, just got really starting to enjoy. Strong With You Freeze, oddly underrated in my opinion. I really like that fragrance. More and more with every spray. Acqua Essenziale Blue, one of my all-time favorites. Harrods Parfum. Man, that's a good fragrance. You really should try more from the house. Get a discovery kit if you can from Roja Parfums and try some of these luxury offerings. They have some fantastic fragrances available from the house. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the 7 that I featured in this video and you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.